Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Okay, it's Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. Let's get you quickly up to speed. Weather first. If you're in the southern or central plains, definitely be aware of some severe thunderstorms rolling through. You could see large hail, strong winds.
Yeah, sounds pretty rough out there.
And the south generally, just lingering showers, maybe for the next couple of days. Oh, and western Hawaii, Kauai, Niihau flash flood watch from heavy rain.
Wow, it's quite a mix across the country.
But here in Sacramento, beautiful, sunny, high around 74, nice day.
Can't complain about that.
Markets-wise, quick look back at yesterday, Wednesday the 23rd. Dow closed at 40251.73, and the S&P 500 finished at 5 down 449.46.
Okay.
So today we're doing our deep dive. We've got 3 big tech stories, and we really want to connect the dots and figure out how these things might, actually touch your everyday life.
Absolutely. These aren't just abstract tech news items. They have real potential impact on, how we find information, how AI develops, even how we connect with each other online.
Right. So let's jump into the first one. It's that big U.S. government versus Google antitrust trial. It's been ongoing, but some really interesting testimonies just came out.
Yeah, the core issue hasn't changed, right? The DOJ thinks Google has an illegal monopoly. Search and search ads.
And a judge has already sided with them on monopoly point, which is huge.
It is. But this new twist involves OpenAI.
Exactly. Nick Turley, he's head of product for ChatGPT over at OpenAI. He testified.
And what did he say?
Get this. He said OpenAI would actually be interested in buying Google's Chrome browser.
Buying Chrome. Wow.
Yeah, if the antitrust folks force Google to sell it off, the idea being it would restore some competition in search.
That would be monumental. I mean,
Yeah.
Chrome is the gateway to the web for so many people. Having an AI company like OpenAI potentially run it, that changes everything.
Totally changes the game. Now, Google, obviously, they're not taking this lying down.
Right.
They plan to appeal the monopoly ruling. And they're pointing fingers saying, hey, look at generative AI, look at Meta, look at Microsoft. There's plenty of competition.
Right. They're trying to broaden the definition of the market, essentially.
But here's another interesting bit from Turley's testimony. OpenAI actually tried to partner with Google not long ago.
Partner how?
They wanted to use Google's search tech inside ChatGPT. Apparently, they were having problems with their provider at the time.
Which turned out to be Bing, right? Microsoft Search.
That's what we understand now, yeah. So they went to Google saying, basically, your search data is better, more up to date.
Which really highlights how crucial that real-time massive data set is for these AI models. They need fresh, reliable info.
For sure. OpenAI even said in an email something like, having multiple partners, especially getting Google's API access, would make ChatGPT way better for users.
Makes sense. Diversify the data sources, improve the quality.
But Google said no. Back in August, their reasoning, concerns about involving too many competitors, keeping things close to the vest.
Understandable from their perspective, I guess, but still pretty revealing.
Definitely. And it plays into what the DOJ wants as a potential fix, right? Turley basically said, if the DOJ makes Google share its search data with competitors.
Like OpenAI.
Exactly. He said that would seriously speed up their efforts to improve ChatGPT. Give it that constant stream of current factual information it needs.
So that proposed remedy, the data sharing, it could be a massive boost for competitors.
Seems like it. Turley even admitted ChatGPT is still years away from handling most searches, maybe 80% with its own tech. So they really rely on external search data.
So forcing Google to share could really level the playing field, at least in terms of beta access for AI development.
That's the argument. And, the trial also dug into Google's past deals, like those exclusive agreements they had with Samsung, making Google search the default.
Right, locking in that default position on millions of devices.
They've apparently loosened up on those more recently. Samsung, Motorola, AT&T, Verizon can load other search options now.
A little bit more choice then.
A bit. But the DOJ wants more. They want to ban Google from making those big money payments just to get their search app installed by default in the first place.
So cutting off the financial incentive to prioritize Google search.
Exactly. So thinking about you listening, how could this all shake out? I mean, if there's more competition forced here, could that actually lead to better search engines for you? More variety? Maybe better AI tools?
It's a real possibility. More competition often drives innovation, better products, maybe even different approaches to privacy. It could change the fundamental way you find information online. Definitely something to keep an eye on.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears. Story number 2. NVIDIA. They've just announced the general availability of something called the NeMo platform.
NeMo microservices. And this is aimed at developers building. Well, they're calling them agentic AI systems.
Agentic AI, or AI teammates, they also said. Sounds very futuristic.
It does, but the core idea, this data flywheel concept, is actually pretty grounded. It's about continuous learning.
Okay, explain the data flywheel.
So AI systems built with NeMo aren't static. They're designed to constantly learn and improve based on how they're used. They interact with enterprise data, they get user feedback, and all that information gets fed back into the system to make the AI models better, smarter, more accurate over time.
So the more you use it, the better it potentially gets.
That's the core principle. It's a learning loop.
Interesting. And NeMo isn't just one thing, right? It's like a suite of tools. Curator, customizer.
Exactly. Think of it as an AI development toolkit. NeMo Curator handles the data, prepping it, cleaning it up, getting rid of duplicates, making sure it's ready for training. Huge task at scale.
Right. Data prep is always huge.
The NeMo Customizer is the training engine. It uses fancy techniques like fine-tuning to teach the models new skills or specific knowledge.
Okay.
NeMo evaluators like the quality checker. Make sure the AI is actually improving and not, forgetting things or getting worse at certain tasks. Keeps track of progress.
Important. You don't want AI regression.
Definitely not. Then, NeMo Guardrails, super important for responsible AI. Keeps the AI on topic, makes sure it's safe, secure, avoids problematic content.
Setting the boundaries.
Precisely. And finally, NeMo Retriever helps the AI pull in the right information accurately, especially when lots of people are using it at once. Reduces incorrect answers, handles scale.
Wow. Okay, that sounds incredibly comprehensive. They seem to have thought through the whole life cycle.
It seems that way, yeah.
Now, we've heard about NVIDIA's NIMs before, NVIDIA Inference Microservices. How does NeMo relate to NIMs? Are they the same thing?
Good question. Now, they're different but related. Think of NeMo as the factory or the workshop where you build and improve the AI model.
Okay, the development side.
Right. Data prep, training, evaluation, adding guardrails. Once you have that improved model from NeMo, then you use NIMs to actually deploy it and run it. NIMs handle the inference part, the AI actually doing its job in the real world.
Got it. So NeMo builds and refines, NIMs deploys and runs. And it's a cycle. Improve in NeMo, deploy via NIMs, get feedback back to NeMo.
Exactly. That's the flywheel in action, continuous improvement loop.
Makes sense. And who's using this already? You mentioned developers, but are big companies jumping in?
Yeah, they mentioned several, AT&T, Cisco, Galileo.
What are they doing with it? Any examples?
Well, AT&T is apparently using it to build an AI that can understand a huge amount of documents. Cisco and Galileo seem focused on using it for building better coding assistants for developers.
So practical business applications right out of the gate.
Seems so. And it's not just for NVIDIA's own AI models either. That's a key point.
Oh, what else does it support?
NeMo works with lots of different models, including popular open ones like Meta's Llama, Google's Gemma, models from Mistral, Microsoft's Phi, plus NVIDIA's own, of course.
So developers have flexibility. They're not locked into just NVIDIA tech.
Right. And it integrates with other AI tools too, like LangChain and Llama Index and data platforms from companies like HPE, Dell, IBM. It's designed to fit into existing ecosystems.
Okay, so bringing it back to the listener, how might this actually affect you? If you're not an AI developer at Cisco, why care about NeMo?
Well, think about the apps and services you use every day. Down the line, many of them could have these AI teammates or agents built using platforms like NeMo integrated into them.
Like a smarter Clippy, but actually useful?
Potentially, yes. Or much more sophisticated assistants helping you at work, maybe automating complex tasks, providing highly personalized information. And because of that continuous learning,
The data flywheel.
these agents wouldn't just be static tools. They'd adapt, learn your preferences, get better at helping you specifically. It could lead to much more capable and reliable AI assistants becoming part of your daily workflow or personal life.
So smarter, more adaptive AI woven into more things we use could be quite transformative.
It really could.
All right, final story for today. We're back in the courtroom, this time with the FTC versus Meta.
Right, another big antitrust case. This one focuses on Meta's acquisition of Instagram way back in 2012.
Ancient history in tech terms. But the FTC is arguing that buying Instagram wasn't just a normal acquisition. They're calling it part of a buyer-bury strategy.
Meaning Meta bought Instagram specifically to eliminate it as a potential competitor, to protect Facebook's dominance in social media.
That's the accusation. And just like the Google case, we got some pretty explosive testimony this week, this time from Instagram's co-founder, Kevin Systrom.
Oh, interesting. What did Systrom say? He made a fortune from that deal, didn't he?
He did. Millions. But he testified that after Meta bought Instagram, the startup was, and this is his quote, starved of resources.
Starved of resources. Why?
Because, according to Systrom, Mark Zuckerberg saw Instagram as a threat to Facebook's growth. Systrom literally said Mark was not investing in Instagram because he believed we were a threat to their growth.
Wow. That directly contradicts what Zuckerberg testified just last week, doesn't it?
Completely. Zuckerberg's line was that Meta poured resources into Instagram, helped it grow massively after buying it.
So Systrom is basically saying, no, you deliberately held us back because you were scared of us competing with Facebook.
That's exactly what it sounds like. It paints a picture of Meta intentionally kneecapping Instagram's potential to protect the mothership.
Which, if true, is pretty much textbook anti-competitive behavior. It perfectly supports the FTC's buyer-bury argument.
Right. It really lands a punch against Meta's defense. You have the co-founder, who benefited financially, saying the acquisition wasn't about synergy and growth, but about controlling a competitor.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What would Instagram look like today if it had stayed independent? Or if Meta had actually poured resources into it without seeing it as a threat? How different would the whole social media landscape be?
Exactly. And that's the relevance for you, the user. When big companies buy up promising startups, does it stifle innovation? Does it limit your choices in the long run?
If potential competitors get absorbed or, as Systrom alleges, starved of resources, you might end up with fewer platforms. Maybe less diversity in features, less pressure on the big players to innovate or treat users better.
So as you're flicking through Instagram or Facebook, it's maybe worth thinking about how these behind-the-scenes corporate strategies and legal battles actually shape the apps you use every single day. What alternatives might have existed?
It's a good reminder that the platforms we use don't evolve in a vacuum. These acquisitions and the motives behind them have real consequences for competition and ultimately for us as users.
Definitely food for thought. Okay, let's do a quick recap of those three stories.
Sounds good.
First, US v. Google. Key testimony revealed OpenAI wanted to partner using Google Search, but Google declined. The DOJ is pushing for remedies like forcing data sharing or even selling off Chrome. Big implications for search and AI competition.
Second, NVIDIA's NeMo platform is now out. It's all about building these continuously learning AI teammates, using that data flywheel concept. Supports various models, big companies already using it, could mean more adaptive AI in your future apps.
Right. And third, FTC v. Meta. Instagram co-founder Kevin Systrom testified Meta deliberately starved Instagram of resources post-acquisition because it was seen as a threat, directly contradicting Zuckerberg and supporting the FTC's case. Raises questions about acquisitions and innovation.
You have three really distinct stories, but you can see the threads, can't you? Scrutiny of big tech power, the incredible pace of AI development, and this constant tension between competition and consolidation in the industry.
Absolutely. So the final thought for you today. As you see these legal fights play out, as AI gets smarter and more integrated, how do you think all this will change things? How you find info, how you use AI, how you connect with people online? What does that future look like to you?
Lots to consider there.
Definitely. We are here to help here at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.